Well, grab a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Dean Davis, the show. Of course, we're in COVID formation, and we've brought our crew with us as we enter into the final Dean Davis, the show. Forgot what's going to happen with this name in the next month or whatever, as D is stepping away.
I told you it's going to be the Kim Davis show.
We'll figure out
For
what
real.
We'll figure out what the name's going to be. Dean Davis, the show, as I just told you, D's last Dean Davis, the show. We're definitely going to miss him. His points, his wit shall be missed moving forward, but he will always be loved and he will always have a home here with all of us, but in particular here on the show with Ryan and myself, and the flip with Ryan, myself, and Sydney. Look, we got a lot to get into today. We got Eddie Goldman from the Bears. Like, listen, you keep that 4.5, baby. Give me my stipend. I'll give it back to you. I want no parts of that. We got half of them joking. Half of the Patriots like, you know what, Bill Belichick? Nah, son. All right. We got the Marlins infecting the whole MLB. They didn't get the Phillies, though.
You get COVID. You get COVID.
You want some? We got Tony backtracking from Lou Williams. As soon as Lou Williams stepped up with two mamacitas, like, you don't like how I'm living? Tony was like, oh, sir, I love how you're living. I love how you're living. But we got a lot to get into today. My name is Kenneth Davis, and of course, for the last time, you know who my partner is. His name is
Demonze Spruiel. What's happening, everybody? Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. Make sure you click on the bio link and take you to everywhere we are: YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Just simply search for the D and Davis Show, D and Davis are flipping. You'll find us. Share, subscribe, rate, all that good stuff. I'm on Twitter and IG at Demonze1, DEMONZE1. Ken is on Twitter at NIG at That's Davis. Executive producer of the D and Davis Show and D and Davis the Flip. Ryan Bukoveski. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski and IG at Ryan B. Ski 1. All right, let me see if I can get this down. NBC Sports Podcast Extraordinaire. Well, Mr. Tony Gill. You can find Tony on Twitter at NIG, I believe, at the Tony Gill. Our main man, Jason Kessner. You can find Jason on Twitter at JF Kessner. And our main man going up there in NYC, rocking the White Sox hat. I love that. Well, Mr. Melvin Taylor. You can find Melvin on Twitter and IG at Melvin Taylor II. Is that right? Or 1-1 I. All right, cool. I got it for the last time. There you go.
No, that's good. That's right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just take it as I drink. As something I've never done on any of our shows. I have never, besides when we had like live or something like that, live, but
So you did
flips. Yeah, I had. Never mind it.
Yeah,
It's surprising considering how much D likes to know.
Good job.
I actually have cut down.
Dude, this is what he's saying.
I've
I didn't
cut down
do it
a lot.
on Zoom, but
Yes.
I've done it when we've done the show together, which
There
is
you
basically
go.
like,
I've never done it on
Yeah,
Zoom.
okay.
No one has ever seen me with a glass in my hand. That's all I'm trying to say.
yeah, I'm doing every show.
I know.
Actually, I'm gonna stop though.
It's not
I'm gonna
just
do
you.
it. Yeah, when it's just me, it's not the same. It's just
Why? You
I,
might need it more.
I drink by myself all the time.
no. I just mean as far as when we move forward, I don't like with it, we balance it out. So like you said, you weren't drinking, so
No, I
hadn't
wasn't.
So okay, so
Okay,
I'm just
all right,
saying that it crossed my mind. It wasn't something to do. All right,
Well,
let's go
Ken,
off
you
topic.
could be drunk, and I'll be the sober one.
First of all, you do not get drunk and on any type of application out here in these streets.
Very true.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look in general. If you're over intoxicated, you need to just cut yourself off of everything. Now,
Hey, that's you. I'm the sober one, buddy.
I hate drunk dialing. Like, and not to say I do it, but it's like one of those things I always question myself. Like, listen, are you intoxicated? You know, like too intoxicated to make a phone call, because it's nothing worse than that.
Can you still drunk dial with smartphones?
Yeah, because you put that you hit that person's contact and you call them and you two liquored up.
I don't call nobody, so I mean that's why.
Well, that's all I'm just saying. Like,
Man.
yeah.
So you could definitely still do it. You could definitely get in trouble for it. Just leave it alone, bro. Just leave it alone.
You got some stories, Melvin, you want to tell us up
I
in
know,
New York
right?
about you drunk dialing?
Whoa, not at all. I'm ready to get into the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it.
All right, listen, one thing definitely going off top, one of the things that stuck out to me was Ravon Bonner from Illinois decided, the running back from the team, decided that he was going to opt out. He's a senior. He said basically he has asthma, so he has a pre-existing condition. And he just said the risk isn't worth the reward, and hopefully he's going to come back next season, even though Illinois said they may not honor that. They're going to honor his scholarship for this year. He'll be a fifth-year senior. He's going to come back in hopes of trying to impress the NFL to perhaps get a workout or something similar like that. But, yes, I mean, power to that brother, especially I mentioned in the open as far as the Bears, defensive tackle, nose tackle, Eddie Goldman has decided that he is not going to play this season. You had a host of Packers from Chung to Dante Hightower.
Patriots.
Patriots. Thank you. Patriots.
Yeah.
You have at least 5 to 6 Patriots that have decided that they're going to sit out. And it's funny. And one of the things we said through all these shows was that the chances of any of these teams that are, especially not the NBA, that are in a bubble, one, but also the NBA has already played majority of their season. The season's basically over. I know they're playing these 8 games. The season's over. They're probably not going to be able to finish their season. And it's funny, I was doing Sean Maya yesterday, I believe, and it was like, dude, I'm trying to get the best out of this baseball right now because in about 3 weeks, this joint may be shut down. And we'll be
Might
like,
be sooner than 3.
I would say, on there I said a week and a half to 2, right? I'm just trying to give him a little bit more time before Manfred just has to eat that crow and be like, man, it ain't going to work. But, I mean, and you have situations where it goes all the way back, and I know we said it on this show. I said it before, Stephen A. Smith. Man, cats going to be out there doing what they want to do, man. You're not keeping – and we're talking about sports where you're not even in a bubble. In a bubble, Lou Williams decided he wanted some wings from Magic City. Now, I guess. And also, listen, if Jack Harlow's there, you got to pull up, I guess, right?
It's his favorite restaurant.
I heard the wings are outstanding.
He was interviewed, and he said it's his favorite, Magic City. Best restaurant in the world.
Listen, and this is where I could be wrong. I've honestly always been somewhat leery of eating food at stripper joints.
Probably up here in Chicago. Maybe it's a little bit different in the South.
It could be, but it's just, to me, where there's a lot of shaking and baking. It's like I can get that food later. You know what I'm saying?
I avoid the tater tots and the pizza when I went to the strip joint, too. I'm just saying. That's not, for me, it's a lot in the air. Yeah. All right? It's a lot. Go ahead.
I've gotten some information on selfish plug on the Bulls Talk podcast on a recent one. Jason Goff gave the details on why the wings are so good at Magic City. That Magic City is apparently connected to like a high-end restaurant. So some of the chefs are they don't forget what their job is just because they move venues. So they got a couple of them, and those chefs still make great chicken.
Nice.
They just so happen to be at the strip club. So apparently the chicken is top notch. It's not like, an excuse. He wanted some chicken from this spot. And also that Lou Williams is a patron saint apparently at the Magic City. I think he got his own flavor of chicken there.
Really?
At Magic City. So yeah, they might have his jersey in the rafters in Atlanta.
He can't get the pickup.
Right?
He can't get the pickup though.
Now, see, that's what I want to get into. Why are you going in to pick it up, bro?
Yeah.
He wanted to see a little something. I'm here to pick up my order. Okay, all right.
You open the door. Listen.
Here you go, my lady. Here you go, my lady.
They hand you your wings. You pull the door back a little bit.
Slide somebody something. Yeah, slide somebody something. You walk out. Yeah.
Weren't there reports that the center stage was closed? Like there wasn't even anything going on? Or is this just spin material?
Dude, don't you? I hope you don't think. Well, first of all, you don't need the center stage, brother. All you need is ones that are just going through the center stage is cool and all. But
you might not be able to do the peek-in if they don't got the center stage.
Wait a minute. Ken, you've been to Magic City before, right?
No, I was wondering that. I've been to 4 strip clubs in Atlanta. I've been to Blue Flame.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've questioned.
Okay, Blue Flame. All right.
It was a terrific time. I've been to the one where they filmed Get Low. All right. I've been to that because there's a barbershop. I don't know if it's still open. I've been in the one they filmed Blue. I was in there. This is one of the reasons I don't want food in the strip club. I was in the one during the daytime because one of my buddies who I went to college with, he was known to go daytime to the strip club. So when I went to visit him in Atlanta, he took us to the daytime into the strip club, which you would think was terrible, but man, they had some performers. And the girl clapped her cheeks on my shirt and pulled my shirt. Right?
Whoa!
And I don't know if I was to be offended or astonished, right?
Well, obviously the latter.
You can have both. You can have both. You can have the
Right. It was something similar to that, right? Because the guys around me was kind of like, whoa, whatever. And it's like I got some makeup from her backside on my shirt too, a little bit.
Ooh.
I hope it was makeup.
I hope it was makeup.
But these
I
are
mean, if
part
it
of
didn't
the-
stink, it's probably makeup.
Hold on, everybody. All right, it's okay. It's okay.
I didn't do that. I ain't trying to get pink eye. But but these are some of the reasons why, for me personally, it's never been like, yeah, when I'm in the strip club, and I hear dudes all the time, oh man, he used to always eat the wings. And it's up here. I was at a wedding, or I was at a destination wedding. I remember the groom's best men were saying, like, yeah, he used to love to eat wings or at the strip club. And I remember thinking, like, really? Right? Like, really? Because that's not what I'm there for. I'm trying to fill my drink quota and enjoy myself. But that's just me. I'll let you guys talk further about Lou Williams and the ass shaking and bacon with
I mean, listen. Okay, all right. So he went to the strip joint to pick up some food. He didn't test negative when he came back, right? He went back into the bubble.
He didn't test positive?
I mean, I'm sorry. He didn't test positive when he came back. You know, so he had this quarantine because he was outside the bubble. What's the issue? Because he wanted to see some ladies do their thing here for a few seconds and get some wings. Everybody got to get on Lou Williams. Come on, Tony.
D, you wouldn't be there with the megaphone?
No.
Oh, right.
Well, it depends.
No heckling, because he could ruin the whole NBA.
He didn't get heckling.
He could go take it all the way back to this immaculate bubble, and it'd be like, man, you destroyed the NBA for ass shake?
But it's not like he went out there. I mean, it's not like he went there, sat down, plopped out, had a stack on him, and was just spreading out for 3 hours. He picked up some wings.
How did he sit next to Jack Harlow?
Did he stay there for a few hours and tip?
You think he wasn't? You think he was there for 15 minutes? Like, seriously?
That's a long time for pickup food, too.
I agree, especially if you know I'm coming. But why do it in general? You got so much on the line already. Why go put all that at risk? And you a veteran. It ain't like it's your first, second year in the league. Like if, I don't know, Lonzo Ball did this, then I'd be like, all right, man, you know what? The whole host of problems going on over there.
Right.
Lou Williams, come on, bro. You know better than this, dog.
Well, as we also know, too, you're going to have these stories about some guys that's going to be out here messing up, especially with the NBA bubble, because they're trying to keep it as pristine as possible. All the other sports, maybe besides the NHL, because they're staying in Canada, but any other sport, you're probably going to have these kind of stories.
They got strip clubs in Canada?
No. I'm just saying this.
I mean, you mean their bubble?
Really good ones, too.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tony.
Really?
Tony
sure?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure?
In Montreal?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Are you sure? What's the
Is this like the Admiral? Because I don't like the Admiral.
See, I've never been to the Admiral, but I know I don't like the Admiral.
It sounds familiar.
Because they only take off the tops at the Admiral, right, D?
Yeah, it wasn't.
You sexist.
I'm trying to remember what is the name of the club. Dennis Rodman partied there when he was filming that movie.
In
The
Canada?
one where he's on a motorcycle.
He was in Vegas.
Wait, I know
You know what movie I'm talking about.
Wait, I know what
He
movie you're
filmed
talking
it in
about.
Montreal.
But wait, you
No,
the strip?
Double
Yes.
Trouble? Was the name of that movie Double Trouble?
Was this
I
with
don't
Or
remember.
Double Team or
Dan?
something like that? Okay. Whatever.
Wait.
But this is the highlight,
Uh-huh.
okay? So it's really cheap, first of all. It's full nude, full bar, full touch. And it's like probably $5 to $10 a dance.
Whoa.
Time out, son. Time out.
Yeah.
Whoa. This sounds like some of the chicken
Arnie's?
boys.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like
You
Arnie's.
said full. Can you explain to me what full touch is?
You can touch everything except the
Yeah.
one area.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Canada? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Is this in Montreal?
Oh, yeah. And the best part, The Canadians just go there for pregame before they go to the clubs. So they love tourists.
Oh, so they live like Portland. Portland's like that, apparently. Like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weekend, you go to the strip club.
Wait
Yeah,
a
they
minute.
just use it as pure pregame.
I think Portland's the place they had the drive-through
Yes, they
strip
did.
club. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
When I was at the Get Low strip club, I remember a certain young lady who was dancing on me and grabbing on my body, right? Violating me, basically. I should have called the authorities. I remember the DJ kept coming on me like, no touching, right? Mind you, I was not touching her,
She was
all
touching
right?
you.
She was touching me. But you're telling me in Canada
Yeah, baby. It goes down.
about that. I mean, of course, these women are free to do what they want, but it just seems like a lot right there, man. It's like I got to come and work with you.
That's how France goes down, baby.
Okay.
Nah, sound like a slippery slope, man. That's just one move away from being real bad. Nah.
I don't know about that.
You got to have some control, Melvin. Come on.
During Corona?
What'd you say?
During
During
Corona.
Corona?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what they're doing during Corona.
Well,
Report on that.
what are the numbers in Canada for as far as the virus? It's not
It's
bad
low. That's why
here.
that's like they kept the Blue Jays from breaking up from playing up there. They kind of done their job.
And NHL, that's
So the
why that's why they're
NHL
here.
Yeah, they're going to just get through, huh? We're going to have the NHL for sure.
I think
All the
they
others
will.
probably not.
I think the
They're in a
NHL.
bubble.
I think
yeah,
the
they're in the
NHL will
bubble.
get through. Yes,
They're in the bubble.
and they're in Canada too, so you don't have the. I mean, listen, you have the NBA in the bubble. They're down in Florida, but Florida is the epicenter of the world right now as far as the coronavirus. You go over and see the bubble up in Canada, they're not going to have this issue. They're probably going to get through. I do think the higher probability of all the American sports, though, besides NHL, the NBA is probably going to finish. I think the NBA will get through their season. I don't know about the NFL, and I definitely don't know what's going on right now with the MLB that they're going to
It's
finish.
a real shame, though. The non-contact sport can't get this thing right. It's funny. I joked about this when they announced what their plan was. I was like, the winner of the pennant this year is going to be the last team standing. And then the Marlins had to make it so it's like, yeah, actually, that's probably true.
Yeah, it's probably true. Wait a minute. So they're done till Monday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, both them and the Phillies are postponed to be announced how that's going to work.
So
Yeah, like,
how are you
going to go past Monday?
Right. Wait. So how are you going to have two teams that's basically done for like a weekend? You got records, you have games, all this kind of stuff. How are you going to finish this? It's going to be too hard to do.
Telling you, it's going to be an elimination chamber. They're just going to have to stop.
Yeah, I mean, they might have to
eliminated.
forfeit some games. Like, you just don't get to play 60.
Tony, what are y'all hearing on the Sox podcast?
Well, obviously everybody's concerned around the league. The players, they had an emergency. The player reps had an emergency meeting about what happened in Miami, and they still plan to kind of go forth, with the season as much as they can. But I'm not 100% sure that they actually know like what the plan would be if there was like another kind of major outbreak. Like, let's say if the Phillies, they did contract it and like it was multiple cases in Philadelphia. That I get one team, but two teams, like you gotta shut everything down. And because you're making it more difficult on yourself trying to circle all these loops. Well, pause this team, but what about this team? They're supposed to be playing them. Like, no, haven't played the next team, but that team is playing somebody else. Like, it's probably just easier just to shut it all down. And that's speaking from a guy our livelihoods is on sports and sports kind of coming back.
Yeah.
But that was a major outbreak, a major one. And these guys are supposed to, and it's weird because it's same issue with football. They go home. They're not in a bubble. The players aren't in a bubble. They do their tests and stuff, their daily tests, which they've been doing pretty well with that. According to the numbers, is actually really low in terms outside of the outbreak in Miami. The numbers are relatively low still. But still, like, I don't know other people's family situations. Like, I don't know what their families are doing and their family members are doing. So it's still a difficult, and it's going to take an effort by every individual that's involved, and that's asking a lot for a large number of people. And we see how difficult it is to get a large number of people to do one thing. So far, they've been doing all right, but still, it's going to be hard.
Totally see that.
Listen, man, it's not going to work. I mean, and again, with these sports where you have a limited roster in basketball, basically 15 players, coaches and trainers and stuff like that, compared to where you talk about baseball, you're talking about especially football. And then football is built, all of these sports are built off of young labor and how much you can get out of the young labor before you have to pay them. But football in general, with the short time span of an NFL career, you're talking about young people, and we've seen it throughout the country. We saw it in the drive-in concert in New York. I think I saw a house party.
Chain smokers.
The chain smoker.
Yeah, chain smokers.
Yeah.
And I saw a house party in New Jersey where they said in a mansion there was like 700 people in a mansion.
What?
It took the police like hours to break it up.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa,
and
I did not hear about that.
We're talking about young, rich people. All right, this is the time in their life. I've said this from the beginning of this. I'm happy I'm older, because if I was in my early 20s, I would have a problem sitting my ass down. And at that point, I was taking care of 2 elderly ladies. All right, so probably I would have, but that's hard. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. That's hard because this is your time. I mean, this is your summer. And again, I'm not saying that they should be doing it. I'm just trying to look into their mind, especially with feeling as if I'm safe. I'm not going to do anything, quote unquote, risky, even though, I mean, if you're kicking it out, you're being risky. I mean, let alone if you're getting it on, of course you're being extra risky with that. So listen to all my young brothers out there.
Yeah, but I think that mentality may it may be different in football, because again, a lot of those guys, they don't have the big money deal. So like it's gonna, if I know that, all right, I'm working on trying to get the second deal. I'm still under the first deal. I was a 6th rounder and I need to make the roster. Like,
that guy went to Starkville, Mississippi for 3 years.
That's what I'm about to say.
$100,000 in his pocket.
That's what I'm about to say, dude. He went from being broke to being $100,000 heir, and you still think, again, I'm not saying he's not going to train or whatever, but people are going to want to congregate. People aren't going to want to have relationships. I mean, again, some people will, Tony. You will have those guys that are of a one-track mind about getting that next deal. But even with this, the risk of, all right, let's say player B drafted in the 5th, 4th round. I bust my ass. I do what I need to do. I'm not going around anybody. I'm just being around my teammates and playing games. I still run the risk of getting it from my teammates and in those games. Yeah. So and when you're talking about my future contract, we don't still know how my body may be compromised. And we know through baseball arbitration, when I show up and my lungs don't pump out, you be like, when you put that machine up to see how hard my lungs are pushing out, and you're like, dude, this is down 15 degrees right here. What you been doing? I'm like, the COVID, you're going to take that to me and be like, you just don't run as fast as you used to when your lungs was working at an excellent capacity. And I'm not to know what it can do when we know now it's a blood disease to other organs in your body. And again, I'm not a doctor.
So they should just throw caution to the wind? Like, hey, I'm gonna get it anyway. It don't matter.
No, that's
some
not,
people.
that's
but
not,
some people are like that.
Yeah, that's not my point. I'm not
talking about athletes, though, D. We're just not talking about the normal.
Hey, listen. I mean, you're gonna have some athletes that are gonna probably have the same. Listen, sports is a microcosm of society. We know that to the nth degree, right? People inside the sports industry are going to do the same crazy stuff that people outside on the streets are going to do. You're going to have some cats be like, man, that stuff ain't real. Or you have some cats be like, man, get away from me. Or like or Rizzo at first base. You need some hand sanitizer. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have that schism. And you're going to have some cats in the major league sports is going to be exactly like that. No, don't believe in masks. Don't believe in the virus, whatever the case may be. They are prime athletes superior athletes of the human race. And it can definitely happen. It goes to the point, even if you know that, it goes to the point of, why are we even trying to do this? You know what I'm saying? I understand there's money there. The money, you know what I'm saying, make the world go around. Cream, baby. I understand that. But if you know how people act and you see what's happening in the streets here in America, it makes no sense to try to push forward with these sports.
We got Josh Hicks with us. I can tell from that background. Sue Woo, Josh.
What's going on, Josh?
What's up, fellas? How y'all been?
Good.
Make sure you check out In the Scope. Josh has an interview with the Bigs talking about baseball on both sides of town. So make sure you go to We Are Rigger Radio and check out his podcast with the Bigs, man. Definitely support.
Yeah.
Josh, you heard what we was talking about? Give us your thoughts. Let's not sit there on empty.
Man, I mean, I've kind of been up in the air as far as sports in general. I mean, obviously starting off, I was hopeful that there would be sports, obviously with COVID going on, but there was so much unknown that and in the air that to the point where it's like, you know what, since we don't know too much right now, kind of just got to go with the flow. I mean, you just plan and prep for what you can, and then you move forward. But now you got all these different tests, all these people coming positive and things of that sort. I really just think it depends on the sport and of how sports are going to be successful. It depends on the sport that you play in. Because if you look at basketball right now, yeah, you got some people that are positive tested for COVID-19 and not fully operating in the bubble like they should, but sports are still being played and they're being tested on a consistent basis, and it's not as damaging as we thought it originally would be. Looking at baseball, you got one team that's they're not in a bubble system, but you got a team like the Marlins that has 14 players currently tested positive.
17 people altogether.
Yeah, 17 people altogether. And then you got some teams like the Phillies that just played the Marlins, and they're perfectly fine after being tested today. So it really just depends on the sport and the type of safety precautions that they have and the measures that they're taking behind trying to make this thing as safe as possible. It's kind of unknown if you're not in a specific bubble situation because it's something you can't really always control. So I think it really just varies on the sport. And within that, we just got to be as cautious as possible if we really want these sports to be as successful as they can or cannot be.
I'm going to jump in real quick and say, if you can't make a bubble for your sport, then just don't play it, bro. Don't play it. Like, there's no reason to force all these people that's going to come play this sport, possibly contract the virus, take it back home, get worse, and then come back and play against people that don't have it, and then they end up contracting it, and now it's going to spread like wildfire. Maybe some people from the Phillies right now are testing positive. Who knows, by next week sometime.
That's it right there.
Same thing happened with, so my dad ended up having it, and then we had to all go get tested. We still waiting for it right now to find out. We like, bruh, we have no idea the time.
Whoa. When did you take the tests?
You know what's funny? I took the test 10 business days ago. I still don't have my results yet.
So contract tracing doesn't even work, basically, because wow, Melvin, sorry, man. How's your father?
So he's on the better end of it right now. He's like
real quick
feeling himself again. He's getting his energy back. He's got an appetite and stuff now, so he's feeling much better. But even from that example myself, I was saying, if you can't just isolate yourself to one place so you can make sure that you don't get it and you're testing daily, like what the NBA is doing, like what the NHL is doing, say in a situation like with my family, if somebody comes home and then goes to work 3-4 days, a week, 2 weeks from now, they end up popping up with it. Now everybody they've been in contact with over that point in time could potentially get it. Don't play it if you can't do a bubble.
Let me play devil's advocate with you, Melvin, on this, because the NHL and NBA already played their regular seasons, right? So one, when you're going to those unions,
not yet. Oh
no. I'm saying they played their regular seasons.
Okay,
They played their regular seasons. So with the MLB and with the NFL, even though they might be a shrunk in their season, the NFL's trying to get all 16 games in. When you're going to that union, there has to be a negotiation. So what if, especially with the NFL and the MLB, those players are like, I'm not going to be away from my family for this allotment of time. So then, because I'm with you. I'm saying I'm with you. But when you're negotiating with the union, you're like, you know what? We're going to take you away from your family. In the NFL, you're basically saying we're going to take you away from your family from the end of August, basically, or August all the way until January, right? Or your family's going to live in this bubble too. So what are you going to do with remote learning or with your kids or anything like that? So the only point is I don't know how easy it is with unions to get that bubble situation where NBA players basically was like, well, let's go down there and let's run through the playoffs. And also let's make sure we try to keep the cap intact for the future seasons.
You know what? A good point of that would be, while that does create some tension, obviously, with some people not wanting to be away from their families, they have had more than enough time to be able to figure all that out. So if they actually wanted their families to be in a bubble location with them, they would have had time to say, you know what, we're going to partner with either these schools or wherever. Like, if you get a hotel, say we're going to lock down this hotel for a team. If we have a certain learning program that the kids are going to have through these ages, or we have these schools that are going to be nearby, you now open up the possibilities to do a multitude of things. But by not doing any of that and just letting time go by, and then like a week before the season starts, be like, you know what? Yeah, we will test y'all every day. And if it's below 5%, then we'll move it to every other day. You putting yourself in the same situation that baseball is going to be in 3 weeks when it's over with.
Yeah. To that point, like, baseball really messed it up, really blew it. Like, earlier, granted, now you wouldn't want to be in Arizona or Florida, but early on, if they could have gotten their negotiation nailed down, they could have easily instituted a bubble in spring training facilities, because it's already facilitated and set up for that. And then number two, like, you just think about, like, picking one location. Like, you're not playing these games in front of an audience. You don't have to find a place that can put 35 butts in seats. You could have easily filled up a bunch of empty hotels in downtown Chicago, rented commercial buses, driven people up to the University of Wisconsin campus, out to South Bend, down to Indianapolis to a AAA facility. You could have easily found 15 quality fields that didn't necessarily have a capacity for Major League Baseball, but they had good enough grounds to do it. Broadcast it all and filled up hotels that were otherwise empty. You didn't do that. And instead you let people go all over the place. And then in the other case of the NFL, because again, being the only Premier League fan, I think here, they finished their season without incident, but they went from playing 1 game a week to playing 2 games a week just to finish the season with like the 3-month delay. And it wasn't without incidents in terms of like, oh, more people are picking up like soft tissue injuries. But like, I know everybody talks about how the hardest thing about the NFL is having Thursdays to Sundays. But the thing about it is the only way the NFL plays a full 16-game schedule is if they don't like take 18 weeks to finish it. The only way that they're ever going to get through this is to condense the amount of time and go into lockdown and create a bubble.
Are you saying that they would play games like 2 games in a week or something like that?
The only way to really get through this, especially with the numbers going up, is to shorten the length of time. You have to keep 53 men eligible to play.
Yeah, but their bodies won't be able to maintain the wear and tear. If you even look at Thursday night games and how many people can complain about the fact that their bodies haven't healed by Thursday playing their prior week, I will be largely concerned about injuries stacking up when you're sitting there playing playing a game every 4 days or every 5 days. So, I mean, again, I'm just pointing out what I would think.
Being a devil's advocate, you would probably need to unwed yourself from the idea that you're sitting down every Sunday and watching a game and go on a 5 or 6 day week rather than a 7 day week, just so you can get the games in quicker. Because again, with the infection rates going up, I don't really see you being able to finish this with 53 guys, 53 variables, 53 moves and pieces and their families. Like, you gotta speed it up.
My big thing at that point would be, no other sport really aside from basketball, and then you're eventually going to have NHL is on, especially if baseball is going to be gone. Mm-hmm. Cut the number of games. You're going to make the ad revenue up.
That's definitely.
So if you cut the number of games and speed it up some, there you go. But if you still are dead set on having, we going to play these 17 games and get all that money back, nothing else is on TV. Everybody's going to watch. So if you cut the game down like 5 to 12 games, you mean to tell me people wouldn't be excited and watch all 12 of them games? More people than usual? Yes, they would.
Your TV money would get messed up. They did not pay for that. They did not pay for that. They would be like, give me that. Give me that.
But to Melvin's point is nothing else on, and football is king right now in sports. So what else are you gonna do? They can kind of have you by the gonads now.
Who are they? Who are they have you by the gonads?
In the NFL. The NFL.
Are you saying the NFL has who by the gonads? Is what I'm asking.
The NFL would then have the advertiser by the gonads. We have this product that y'all want for these hot 12 weeks.
Wait a minute. Ken.
Go.
Ken, I'm not saying that you talking about losing money in that situation. You just said the ad revenue would be completely off. You're 100% right about that.
I'm talking about the TV. They have contracts for TV money for a certain allotment of games.
Listen,
all right. So if you can't give me my games, I'm not giving you your money, and they don't have fans coming into the stadium with players who already have semi-guaranteed money in their contracts.
Do you want something or do you want nothing?
Listen. You can't if Melvin just ripped the contract up, you can't just go in there. First of all, the NFL just negotiated that contract. It's better that it was negotiated already because it was prior to COVID. Because I bet those team people like. Man, I wish we could have got your ass now.
You're right about that.
So, but wait. So if you're going to be like, we're going to rip the deal up, I'm going to be like, I'm going to hit you with this COVID contract on your bitch ass.
Well, look, go ahead and hit me with that COVID contract, and then when we don't play and now ain't nobody making no money, it's on you because of how much more you could have made.
Put the younger wrestlers on.
Ain't nothing else on.
Man, ain't nobody watching.
Go ahead.
They ain't drawing numbers like that, Ken. You know ain't drawing numbers like that.
I'm going to put Mountain Man on, brother. I'm going to put Mountain Man.
By Wednesday, you're going to be tired of it. Netflix and Amazon go right.
That little 5 NFL games ain't enough.
The other option is league-wide, like 2 to 3 game, like a bifurcated or a trifurcated season where you play like 6 games, take 2 or 3 weeks off, 6 more games, 2 or 3 weeks off. It's the only way. Like, you're not going to get through 17 weeks consecutively with 53 guys on a team and no bubble.
I 100% agree. All right, we'll come on back. We have some more fun right here with the whole entire crew, D and Davis Show.
What's up, everybody? It's Cameron Smith from CBS 2 Chicago. You're listening to the D and Davis Show.
D and Davis Show. We are back. Crew formation. Josh Hicks, Ryan Bukoveski, Jason Kessler, Melvin Taylor, of course, my main man, Kenneth Davis, Tony Gill, and we are RegalRadio.com's editor-in-chief, and my cousin, Blood, right here. Kyle Means.
You been out in that sun. You been out in that sun, boy? What you been out there doing with that COVID out there?
Who?
You got a little bit of tan on you, Kyle.
Because
I've been coughing and open mouths and,
walking up to him.
Hey, Cuzzo, real quick. So, J.R. Bang, I got J.R. Bang down there. Ken and I first met him. Melvin, I don't know. Melvin, were you down at IMS? Tony, were you down at IMS when, and Jason too? Tony, when JR was all right. So, he's been listening to the 1619 project. I saw him tweeting about it, and he's saying, like, man, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm finally getting around to listen to it. My people are from Greenwood, Mississippi. And I was like, oh snap. Kyle and our people are from Greenwood, Mississippi. My grandfather and his grandmother are brothers and sisters. Yeah. And I was like, interesting. And JR was like, what's up, cuzzo? I'm like, hey, what's up, cuzzo? So,
but y'all both took DNA tests, so y'all would have found that out.
Who took DNA test?
Oh, JR and you have taken DNA test.
Oh, I didn't know JR did a DNA test.
Yeah, he found out like his mother had a sister or something.
Really?
Yeah, like.
Oh, okay. I got to hit him on the DM then. I didn't know that.
So yeah, so that's not your cousin.
Oh,
I'm gonna let you know.
Wait.
Let me smash that shit. They all went to the same company.
How do you know that?
Because I think y'all use the same company. I think y'all use the same company. Okay. So it'll be the same database. So that's why I'm just saying that.
Well, I don't know if
and also everybody in Greenwood, Mississippi wasn't cousins. Y'all,
it wasn't that many people in Greenwood.
You're ancestral motherfuckers. Wait, what's he doing? Let's
Wait a minute. This is in 1940s.
There's only 5 people there.
This is 1940s.
It was Adam and Eve in this motherfucker.
I don't know. The 1940s.
Tony Apple.
We was all cousins and we was just doing it nasty.
Where your people from, Ken? Where your people from?
My people are from Mississippi. My mother's side is from Mississippi.
Where Mississippi?
I hope they're not from Greenwood now. I hope they're not from Greenwood now. My father's family is from Mount Olive. They had a farm in Mount Olive, Alabama. And they moved to Gaston, Alabama after having the farm.
See, I don't have any Alabama folks. I
know. I could tell. Listen,
Missouri and Mississippi.
I'll tell you this: for you not to have Alabama folks, you're an outstanding gentleman.
Oh, okay, all right.
I got Alabama folks.
Because Alabama folks is outside of the rest. What is this? What is the sound coming on? What is that in the background that's happening?
What sound?
You don't hear that shit?
No.
No.
I hear like something said, "That's nice," just a second ago in my earbuds. Or
Is
whatever.
somebody hacked into our Zoom account? What do you? I don't hear.
I'm just telling you what I heard. I'm just telling you what I heard.
All right.
Where's
Do you have
Where's
that
Xander
group
at?
dating text, that chat up? XX chat?
Who's
That's
that?
nice. You.
Too old and poor for that.
That's nice.
That's
But
nice.
yeah, I just
Keep
heard
talking.
it just now. Unless it was something.
Alabama.
I think it was probably something on your end, man.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully so. But no, that's where my people are from. And with the racism, the great racist state of Alabama, but it produces some good folks. I think we have Cal, Tony's people are from Alabama. Tony, your people from Alabama, right? You can just nod. You don't have to unmute. Are you listening, boy?
He can't unmute it.
But he didn't even know.
Melvin, Tony, are your people from Alabama?
No, they're from Mississippi.
Oh shit!
Greenwood, I believe.
Oh no, right. We got out of that state. Listen, my brother who passed, his father passed last year, right? Mm-hmm. And he moved to Mississippi. And I said, I went to see him at the hospital, brought him some food. I said, I never had the inkling to move to Mississippi. Should a black person move to Mississippi? Basically, he said, hell no. All right. And this was modern day.
Damn.
This was modern day Mississippi, right? Listen, while we're going around,
Well, they just got rid of the flag like the other week, right?
Right, yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Josh, where are your slaveholders from?
Arkansas.
We're doing this.
They from Arkansas.
Oh, you look like an Arkansas MF.
That's racist.
It's Melvin. Come on, Melvin, unmute. Let's find out where the slaveholder.
Pretty sure. I actually just texted my dad to double check and confirm. I'm pretty sure both my grandfather and my grandmother on his side are both from Alabama. But I'm double checking.
I knew that though. I can look at your boy. I look at your boy. You look like decent Alabama stock.
Oh God! Look at this. What is this? What is this turned into?
What is this eye that you have for where everyone's from?
Ryan and Jason's ancestry too.
I know, right?
Need it. We don't need it.
Poland.
I was gonna say Poland. And where are the Kesters from, Jason?
Germany.
Yeah, I bet you.
I'm sorry, Jason.
We should all leave this meeting. We should leave this meeting and just have them here together.
The good part is I don't have any connection to the South in my family, so that's a plus.
You still think y'all wasn't down with that F shit? Y'all was down with it. Sound had no connections. Like up north was just all good and clean.
No, but we were still over in Europe when it was like legal.
That's what I'm about to say. Did they come over before the war or after the war?
Wait. So you're saying that they were in Germany during the war? So that means
not that one.
So that means they
the war.
The first one or the second one?
I was talking about the Civil War. That was the important one for the context of you guys.
So I'm asked. So you're saying your family came over after the Civil War? I didn't know.
Yeah, most of my family came over. Actually, it's interesting. We did the thing. There's the story about Alsace-Lorraine getting taken over and swapping, and it was like the revenge between France and Germany. My grandfather's mom's side of the family both were from a village outside of there, and they left when it got taken over by Prussia when it became Germany. So like nationalism is kind of built into my family story.
So when you're saying
out of there when they became German.
So around what year are we talking about?
1871 is the end of the Franco-Prussian War. So my family ended up in the 1880 census in Chicago.
Okay.
So they came over in like 1872, 73.
So y'all was just out here all free and shit, right? Doing what you want to do, right? See me rubbing in our faces and shit. I see the type of person you are.
Well, listen, I get back
with that exposed brick behind your ass, just flaunting it in our faces.
Good Germany stock.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to see. With me and Cal, I think I got back to 1840s for us. I believe on our side of the family, our paternal grandmother and grandfather's side of the family. I think we got back to 1840, and I saw the census for that too. So we Mississippi.
All I know is apparently my grandma wanted to get up here because Muddy Waters was up here. So take that as
I bet she did.
Yeah.
She did. I'm thirsty.
Speaking of Muddy Waters, they about to make his house into a national museum. Yeah. I mean, a museum. Yeah. So you ever go down Lake? Yeah. You ever go down Lake Park? It has the house with the flamingos on the front of screen door. That's his house. It was already set as a landmark. A city landmark is right out there because I used to live right down the street from there. But they're about to make it to a national a museum out of there. Yeah. And I think my grandfather was, how old was my grandfather when he came up here to Chicago from Mississippi? I think he was younger than 10 years old. I know that for sure. So, but yeah, they wanted to get the hell out of Mississippi. Maybe I'll go down there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, cuzzo, maybe we should make a trip down to Mississippi one day. Go see our roots. How about that?
Oh, you want to sit there?
As long as you don't whistle at no white women.
I can see how this.
I gotta whistle to the white women.
You want to steal that Evan F. Moore going to Oklahoma trip, don't you? You want to rip that off?
Quit the show to go find its roots.
Me and Kyle, we going to find the Spruiel roots. Hey, let's see what
documentary.
Yeah,
right.
It might be pretty good. You never know.
Have you ever been down there? Because I went down there like once in the 90s.
You been down there?
I'm happy you see it.
Grandma took me down there.
Really?
Lord.
I was like 8.
No.
Try to teach you how to behave right, huh?
My granddaddy did not take me down to Mississippi.
You better stay in your place.
My grandfather
end up in Mississippi.
Yeah, my grandfather passed when I was 10, so I never had the chance to kind of, teenage years, whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
it wasn't long after that.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. That is true. No, I never been down to Mississippi. I never been down there. One day I want to get down there. We should do it. Let's do a road trip because I was going to Greenwood try to find
Mississippi.
Yeah,
that's called a fly-in.
We already covered that, Tommy.
You don't road trip through the South.
What do you mean? It's COVID. You got a road trip
for about a decade. Athens been trying to get me to road trip through the South.
Oh,
I'm like, nah, son. I'm like, we fly in Atlanta. We can drive to Alabama. Help people from Alabama too. We can drive into Alabama. One just off GP.
That's a little bit of a drive, though, isn't it?
No, Alabama and Georgia aren't that far apart. Like,
no, I'm talking about Atlanta to the border of Atlanta, the city to the border of Alabama. It's not that far.
Guess what? It's better than Chicago to the border of Alabama.
That's very true.
All right. That's my point. All right. One, I'm too old to be road tripping. I'm not a college student. It used to be the ish back in those days. But no, we can fly in and rent a car in the region and do our stuff. Y'all don't drive from here to go all the way through the South.
Hey man, it's COVID going on. We just had a whole segment. We just had a whole segment of how nobody can play sports. You want to put us on the plane? Thank you, Ken.
Hey, that's when you got to supply that PJ, baby.
Okay.
You gotta do what you
gotta fly. Ask Tony.
Right.
Tony out here buying cars on Black Blackout Day.
On Juneteenth, he out here.
Get that money from Tony. What new shoes you got?
No, is that Malibu Black?
Look at him. Like,
yes,
he looking right now like, which one should I show?
Wow. Look at him.
Tony, do you have access to the Sox plane?
No. I was trying to get those off-white fours that came out Saturday.
Why are you still messing with Virgil?
Right. Wait. So let me ask you this. So Melvin, when you say why are you still messing with Virgil, are you saying that in general, or was the Pop Smoke album cover too much for you? Because I know how you guys love Pop Smoke. So let me
whoa. I mean, he's he got a lot of potential.
I said something about y'all to Pop Smoke. I won't say it on here since he's so popular. I mentioned him on the Jack Boys about 4 or 5 months ago when I was like, I get he had a different sound.
It was that song. That song on Jack Boys just didn't hit right for who.
Okay, that's what I was pointing out. I was like, yo, that one wasn't that. And I listened to it because I'm like, oh, Shawty is popping. Let me listen to it. I'm like, whoa, this isn't what I'm here for or whatever. But Tony,
he passed away, right? Didn't he?
No, he was killed. He was killed.
He was murdered. He was murdered.
I didn't want to say that.
I mean, well, you gotta.
You don't say.
You want to say MLK passed away?
Right.
He ain't MLK, goddammit.
I don't think he's MLK. But are you gonna say, Ain't no kid passed away. You're gonna be like, no, they.
You start going to the old Chris Rock bit now.
I know, right? Yeah, that nigga was shot.
Hey, Tony, are you investing some of this money? Like, I mean, you've had discussions. All right. Where are you putting this money? What, you putting some of this money away?
Acorns.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course I'm saving.
No. I'm not talking about that.
Well, in terms of like into a business?
Just just in different places. Just in different places that will generate some money on its own. Or are you putting it away or whatever?
No, the Gills put their money in the Bible like good black folks.
Building fund.
Okay, you right.
You know,
Tony ain't
put none of his money in that building fund. I'm building enough for y'all. I'll make sure that it's working. I'm good. You're not getting no more of this.
Tony better be putting some of that money in real
Facebook,
estate.
Daddy.
Exactly, D. Exactly. That's me contributing. That's my time.
Tony needs to put some of that money in real estate.
Right.
That's maybe some eventually once I have enough. But it's nothing special. 401ks, IRAs,
It's
all
good.
that.
It's good.
You can buy back the block. Buy back Burbank.
Come on, shout out to Rick Ross.
Burbank, you better buy back Marshfield.
Well, real quick, and Melvin just brought up something, and since we just going off top, we'll get to this stuff later. But Melvin, you just said like Rick Ross. Yeah. I will tell you this much with Swiss Beats. I enjoyed the DMX Snoop one, even though Snoop basically brought out his C-level stuff for this. But you can tell Snoop is waiting for another. Snoop is really the only person that can battle Jay-Z.
He sure is.
As far as hits,
yep.
as far as hits that he
for longevity and
the R&B, the R&G album, the Blue Carpet, like he had some stuff on those albums.
They could do just a rail song.
Yeah, right. But I think for the most part, and I know that the Broad Street Bully said it with what's the name? I don't know how I just blanked on his name and called him the Broad Street Bully from Rockefeller. Dude,
Freeway?
Oh, Beanie
Siegel.
Yes. I know Beanie said it, but it was common sense though that it should be, if it's gonna be Rick Ross, it should be Jeezy, right? Like,
no, I agree. I feel like 2 Chainz is. It's funny to see that he thinks of himself in that space, which I mean, obviously you should if you 2 Chainz had got that far. But if they were doing features, I could see 2 Chainz having a chance against Rick Ross. If we doing just purely bodies of work, this battle ain't gonna last long to me.
It's not, dog. And people don't know about that about 14 months. And this was a decade ago during the prime of Kanye, Lil Wayne reign. It was 14 months, but not nobody get on the track with Rick Ross. All right.
Oh, for sure.
It was like Rick Ross had a reign where he was the hottest rapper. It was, and some people that weren't Rick Ross fans don't really know that or whatever. And this is outside of just him making hits. I'm just talking about where
as a kid, nobody wanted to touch him.
Right. But this is my thing, though. I think 2 Chainz is a better MC than Rick Ross.
I don't.
I don't know.
I do.
Wait,
Wait. Y'all talking about features on my song.
On the whole track?
A straight MC. I think 2 Chainz is better than Rick Ross.
He has better. No. He can have better punchlines. As a dog from end to end on the track. No,
you don't think so?
Because I remember when he was Titty Boy.
I'm more of a 2 Chainz fan than I am a Rick Ross fan.
I remember back when with Disturbing the Peace, and be like, Titty Boy can rap, but one, he couldn't do hooks, and one, it got to a point, it's like somebody else needs to jump on this part right here, right? And he's definitely improved off of that, but he's better in a smaller sample size to a certain degree with what Melvin was saying about the features, because you give him 8 to 16 bars, he gonna light it up. Dog, Rick Ross got songs like just life off cocaine alone. Like no, Rick.
No,
like,
I think Rick Ross
never had enough respect for Rick Ross.
I think Rick Ross. I think Rick Ross would win the battle. Like I thought. Well, Snoop is in my top 10 of all time. He's one of my favorites, right? I think Snoop was better. I think Snoop obviously has a way better catalog, and I think personally a better MC than DMX. But the great thing was just kind of like the difference and kind of like how it flowed really with the DMX.
He took it easy.
I think he did take it easy on him.
He didn't bring
out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If Snoop could have brought out a lot of stuff. Right, and this simple, just the simple fact of him freestyling at the end.
That's what I like the most.
Hold on.
That's what I like, especially
Snoop is on a whole other level,
especially on East Coast cats. He was coming from respect for the East Coast,
and he was trying to get X to do it, and X really couldn't do it.
That's not right.
It's not his thing.
No, X could. X could. Remember the battles with Jay-Z, the 2 battles with Jay-Z in the past.
But he was trying to bring it out of him. Snoop's still doing it though.
Yeah, but he don't do it like X. So old, he don't freestyle no more.
No, he don't.
Freestyling, if you don't work that muscle, if you don't work that muscle,
Snoop is still there where he's like,
Snoop was setting him up with that. That was a setup right there. He's like, put the freestyle on. Yeah, because I've been practicing my freestyle.
Well, Snoop is one of the
greatest. I took it easy on you, but let me still show y'all where I'm at.
Yeah, Snoop is one of the greatest freestyle MCs. If you want to say a mainstream rapper, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest. So I don't know. I'm more of a Chainz fan than a Rick Ross fan. But I mean, we'll see.
You like his punchlines.
I like his rhyme. I like his rhymes. I like his punchlines. I do, Melvin. I do like his punchlines, but I like his rhymes though. I do like 2 Chainz rhymes. I do like them.
Give me 5 2 Chainz songs that you love.
Oh, let me go to the phone.
That's no feature.
Can I go to the phone?
You said no. Yeah. You said no.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I can't tell you.
Right? Because I can hear you.
Hey, man, I've been drinking. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I've been drinking too. I've been drinking myself.
Was it I've been drinking a 2 Chainz joint?
I think it was.
I think it might have been, yeah.
But you know what? I couldn't. But also,
2 Chainz songs with Kanye on it.
But also, I couldn't give you probably 5 Ross songs either.
But you didn't like Ross during Ross's prime.
I'm not a big Ross fan though. I like 2 Chainz.
You wasn't on the Freemason weave. The I'm not a star. Like I can name 3, 4 Maybach music alone. Come on, bro.
Maybe
going back to where
which one with Jada Kiss was on? That was a nice one. Erica
the
3.
Yeah, the time where he was doing the talking about Larry Hoover and Meech, Big Dog. Yeah. Everything that motherfucker was putting out in my house. That's how, like we do. It was. He was bodying people, all right? Like the fact that, like for instance, and I know we had a discussion that that you didn't listen to him then, I feel bad because you like that album where he went back to it like 4 years ago where everybody was like, man, this is it. And it was like, nah, dude,
I did like that one. I did like
doing that 7 years ago.
My question is, whenever he plays Aston Martin music, what is 2 Chainz gonna play?
Birthday.
A birthday?
Birthday.
A lot of Chainz's hits. It's more feature stuff. Like I don't know if I can name a consecutive hits that Chainz has had where it's just by himself. Or
he's still looking too, T.
Something that
he ain't said nothing.
I am looking.
He ain't said one song.
For a long time.
He said one song. Yeah.
Man, I love them strippers. Man, I love them strippers. No.
Really?
What?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying some shit. I don't know. I just like
all to say, Tony, make sure you invest in real estate.
That's all.
That's very true. Very true.
All right. Listen, one thing too. And I want to ask Melvin this, and we got Josh here. We got the whole team.
Liquor.
So one of the rumors has come out with the NBA that I read today was the fact that, and this was Bleacher Report, I believe, that both New York teams perhaps may have some interest in Zach LaVine. The Knicks need a star, and the Nets are looking to have a third primetime player to play along with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So what are you guys' thoughts on that situation? And also, what should the Bulls, if they were putting Zach LaVine out on the market, and who's to say if they are, what do you think would be appropriate for them as far as wanting back in the trade or anything like that?
Josh, I'll let you go ahead first.
Dude, I mean, I think the Bulls really shouldn't trade him just because who would you get back for him? I mean, at this point, if you're talking about just trading with the Knicks or the Nets in general, yeah, then I've always said Zach LaVine is a good 1A option to a superstar. He may not be the ideal superstar, but he has the potential. But he has a really good all-star caliber.
1A? I just want to say that part. Please continue. 1A?
Wow.
Yeah, one A, like a side.
You feeling that light skin? Is this the light skin? Shorty looked at him in the eyes and was like, I feel you. Please continue, Josh.
No, I mean, I've always said that he's a good sidekick option, especially from an offensive scoring standpoint. But he needs to be connected with a superstar. If he goes to Brooklyn, where you already have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, you're going to be that C option. And that doesn't always, and from a historical perspective, that doesn't always pan out for superstars like Chris Bosh and things of that sort that have filled that role. He wouldn't live up to his full potential that he could if he went to pair with.
You think he's a superstar?
I did not say he was a superstar. I said he
was.
was.
Jump in.
And it panned out. Chris Bosh panned out pretty well.
I'm gonna jump out, Melvin. You go right ahead, sir.
So what I'm gonna say is, there's no reason in the world to trade him to the New York Knicks, but there is a lot of reasons to be able to trade him to the Brooklyn Nets, depending on whose side you're on. If you're in Brooklyn, that's a perfect third piece to what it is that y'all have. You have KD. You don't know what he's going to be like when he fully comes back, right? You still have Kyrie Irving. You know he can put numbers up on a consistent basis. If you're able to get rid of who I got, Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, and maybe one other person's contract to be able to get Zach LaVine, then that's another 20 points per game when KD or Kyrie is off. Now, for the Knicks, they shouldn't trade for Zach LaVine at all. You're putting yourself in the same situation that you did when you got Amari or you got Carmelo Anthony. You're in a good spot right now. You just brought in a new coach. You got a bunch of draft picks. You got a lot of young players. I get that you want to speed things up because you miss out on people. Just build it up the right way for once in a while. Like, why are you rushing to go back into the same mess you just got out of?
I don't know why you expect the Knicks to build the right way.
Now, look, I feel you. I feel you. Me and my roommate have had this conversation so many times as he's a big Knicks fan. But this is the one time when it's like, look, y'all are really in a good spot. Thibodeau's going to be a decent coach. Y'all going to have some okay assistants. Y'all have some pretty good management with Leon Rose, World Wide West. You can talk to anybody you want to talk to. Not a whole, hey, maybe bring Jason Kidd in to get Giannis. If you don't believe in Jason Kidd's ability to coach that team outside of Giannis, don't bring him in. Bring in somebody else that, regardless of the situation you in, will be able to work out. Because that's what ended up going wrong with, I forget my man's name that came from Memphis. What's his name?
David Fizdale.
Hey, Fizdale.
Yeah,
Fizdale. Because Fizdale is a lot more of a, look, if I got some veterans, I can coach them. As far as the younger guys, he ain't really got that. And this is also a great rebrand for Thibodeau to be like, look, I can coach a young team all the way up that doesn't have that superstar yet, or that doesn't have that. I think LaMelo Ball might end up being that guy if they end up getting the #1 pick that has somebody like that. That's what they need to do. But if the Bulls are going to trade him to Brooklyn, get Karis LeVert back.
All right, wait, real quick, let me jump in. Let me jump into this. If the Bulls are going to trade, so this is one thing, and actually, Tony, I'm going to go to you after this. So I'm sitting there and I'm checking out Denver. And I was a Michael Porter guy, and you wanted them to draft him regardless of his injury. Teams thought Ball from his injury to being also perhaps not aggressive enough and lazy from coming from a family that had some money. Wasn't going to pan out. Who's to say he's still going to pan out? We know Arturas was big in bringing Jokic into Denver. So if you're telling me that our president is good at talent evaluation to that degree, right? I'm just going off of his track record. That if he's that good, one, get the Knicks pick, right? Because Zach LaVine, one, is on a honeymoon contract. That's cheap for his production, especially, I agree with you, Melvin, the Nets are the best option, really. And it will stifle Zach LaVine because he's not going to have the ball in his hands because of Kyrie. Kevin Durant's a much more efficient player and doesn't need the ball as much. It will stifle him, but and I hate to say this, I'm not dissing Kyrie. Kyrie's not going to be there for the full season anyway. All right, so Zach LaVine's going to get his chance.
I don't think either Kyrie or KD will.
Or it's going to be, even with KD, it's going to be low management because you're not going to have his first season where you're just pushing him
like
to
what
the extreme.
Kawhi was doing this year.
Exactly. But see, one, not Karis LeVert. Listen, and this is the messed up part about the Bulls. You're going to have to send me who already was here, Spencer Dinwiddie too, and Karis LeVert with draft picks that are unprotected to a certain degree in some years where that team should somewhat be leveling off. But at least the Knicks have a losing record to where I can be like, and again, this goes to Arturas Karnisovas. If he's that good in this draft where there's no dominant player, this is the point of bringing someone like him in. Because if he can spot talent, because Denver may not have the man, they got mad talent. If he can spot talent like that, I want him to have more picks to build. Because if you start layering the Bulls with a lot of talent, with a city as nice as Chicago, you can start moving that talent out and bringing in major players because it's more attractive. Well, one, you've shown that you can build a team, but also as far as the city goes. But Tony, what do you say?
I mean, it's nice and fun to talk about, trading key pieces of franchises, but the likelihood, I mean, teams are going to do their due diligence and they assume a disgruntled star is around, so they're going to pick up the phone. And the Bulls are going to do their due diligence and pick up the phone and politely decline. They don't take this job if they don't think that there isn't anything here. I think they fully intend to keep their 25 a game scorer that's making under $20 million on the roster. And those two teams specifically, Zach LaVine would be by far the best player in any trade with Brooklyn or the Knicks. I mean, Karis LeVert is nice. He's not Zach LaVine. Spencer Dinwiddie, the Bulls had him prior. But he's not Zach LaVine. So the whole idea would be if they were to make that trade, Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Everett, if they were to make that trade, that means Zach is flatly saying, no, I don't want to be here, which that hasn't been the case. He's just frustrated with how his career has gone on, which he should be. He's lost. He's a loser. That's the case, and he doesn't want that to be so going forward. And the current Bulls in front office, they believe that they can change that. So, and he's under contract, for I think 2 more seasons. Yeah. So they don't have to do anything with him at the current moment. And now they're taking on the challenge of convincing him to say, hey, we are preparing to do something here. And
can I interrupt you real quick to ask you a question? Are you telling me that the Bulls management has to pitch to Zach LaVine to stay with the Bulls?
No, but this is under the assumption. Again, this is all rumors. Nothing's been confirmed. Yeah. This is I'm answering the question under the assumption that Zach LaVine
you're also
an angry superstar.
But I'm not even concerned about him being angry, especially going to you being closer to this than the rest of us. But and I've said this to you in plenty of personal conversations. No knock on Zach LaVine. I was fine with the trade, even though the Bulls clearly have lost that trade now. But I don't necessarily see winning basketball in Zach. And with Melvin's point, Zach LaVine is a third option, y'all. That's just the truth of the matter. Let me just finish. So I guess what I'm trying to preface when I'm saying to this is let me ask you if you can get something of quality and you are trying to build something, and again, it's not to say that when you come to an organization, the first thing you should do is get rid of all the value the organization has. You may want to spend some time to figure out and see things close and personal yourself, including Zach LaVine, and of course, I'm joking, but including Jim Boylan. But when you're thinking about Zach LaVine and the opportunities that he's had thus far, especially when it comes to being the man or being basically the man part B, it doesn't really seem like he fits the role. So for me, I have no problem with moving Zach LaVine. You know what I'm saying? And again, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's just in the long haul of everything now, it depends on who they draft this year and how he would look next to those players. But it just doesn't it seems like there's value. And I said this, and Kyle actually was cool with it, agreed with it, when people was getting mad at the $78 million the Bulls gave him, was that's going to be attractive as hell to move because people are going to be overpaid, and Zach is getting less than $80 million with how the cap was going to end up going. So again, if you have the option to strike hot with their best commodity, because when you look at the fact that Laurie has fallen off, he's their only commodity. It may be time to do something. True. So definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't have any need in me from seeing 2 years of healthy Zach LaVine where I'm like, we got to hold on to that. And that's not a diss to him because he has improved since he's been here. But it's still just not he doesn't affect winning. You know, like if Jimmy Butler, and this is an argument that me and D used to have, and I still think if and I used to be like, if the Bulls held on to Jimmy Butler, they wouldn't lose enough. Basically, clearly they should have, but D used to think that they would lose enough with Jimmy Butler, and I'm like, Jimmy affects winning too much for that. Zach LaVine doesn't affect winning enough for me to be like he has to be 1A or 1B for me.
I think by keeping him, I don't think that they make the automatic decision that he's our build-around guy. I don't think you have to think that way just because you keep him. They're in a stage now, currently, where another rebuild, I don't know if that's the move, especially now with, fans aren't there. So while the fans are out, you trade off the star guy that people came to see in an already kind of low attendance situation that they were in before COVID. Now you want to put out, a team that without Zach LaVine, just add kind of some decent players with Karis, for example, Karis LeVert or Spencer Dinwiddie.
No, it would be for the prospects, Tony.
It would be for the prospects, but what I'm saying is, overall, just by keeping him doesn't automatically make him, all right, we're going to build around Zach LaVine. He's a good enough piece that if we put him in the best position to win right now, either changing philosophy, changing coach, changing training staffs, like all of that around him, and we get the most out of this group to make it look as valuable as possible, they can do some decent winning right now. Again, but you're right. He does have value on the trade market, but I'm just telling you from the information that I've gone and the stuff that I've read, they aren't looking to move Zach LaVine.
But they wouldn't come out necessarily. They wouldn't come out necessarily and say that before they can execute the trade anyway, because you don't want to sour that water.
Agreed.
All right. Yeah. But my thing is this, where just changing the coach doesn't make this a winning team like that. Like, you got some pieces, but just changing the coach, and again, I'm not saying you have to make a move this year, but it doesn't make that move. And you may want to be able to level up with what you do best. And it seems like with Arturas Karnisovas, he does well with picking out prospects. I'm just pointing that out. But anyway, look, we're going to come back real quick and close this out so the guys can go do whatever they need to do. Definitely had a lively conversation. We didn't even think it was going to go this way, and we always appreciate it. The Davidson Show.
Yo, what up? It's your man, Jay Illa, official Chicago Bears DJ, and you are listening to the D and Davis Show. Turn it up.
The teachers union say they don't want to go back in. They were talking about they might strike.
But still, they're not gonna strike. I'm gonna tell you.
And it's since time like we ain't going back into the classroom. I think they're gonna have to have a hybrid kind of a thing.
Because like Afton's fighting the thing as far as being an advisor, they want them to. Their initial proposal with the City College of Chicago was for them to be there 3 days out of the week, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, and they want 8 of them as advisors at least to be there, and it's like, dude. First of all, you guys have worked out where all this has been virtually. They're shutting down part of the virtual aspect of it to force people to walk in there. Yep. And it's like, but this is the kicker though. The teachers don't have to come back. The classes are virtual. So why do the advisors have to come back?
Yeah, that's stupid.
And the only reason is this, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with everything else. Also, we don't know these higher up in educations, how much of them are 45 people. Because they don't have to touch anybody or deal with anybody.
I was going to say, it seems like a lot because they're giving all these updates via virtual calls, but ain't going to go to none of the schools.
Right. The presidents, the principals, you don't have to be around. So, like, for instance, like, what part of Afton's job is they basically have to have some type of triage where a bunch of students will come in and they help them set up, get into their classes. They have to touch the computer and touch it. So one of her questions was so who cleans up the computer after those kids leave, right? So I have to clean up the computer? Like, where's the PPE and stuff? And it's just one of those things where it's just like, fuck you. Y'all just get your ass back up in here for the most part, right? And so it's again, like I said, I thought about you, and I'm like, I knew you. I was like, I know they're not about to pay for no motherfucking virtual Catholic school.
Well,
but you talked about last year that you were looking into.
We were going to do it because we thought she was going to have the same teachers, and we was like, fuck it, we was going to pay the money anyway. Let's go ahead and do it. It's fine. But when we found out that it was going to be like, she's not even going to have her own teacher, like the teacher she's supposed to be assigned to is going to be like a third party kind of a thing.
Well,
and I keep saying,
fucking up.
Man, and I keep saying, I think it's less than 50% chance they can even go back into the school anyway. And we had planned on transferring Grayson to like a selected enrollment public school for 4th grade anyway. So it's kind of like, well, we going to spend like all this money for tuition, and then she's going to get transferred anyway.
Yeah, put her in a Catholic high school if you can't get into one of the great public high schools.
We were trying to get into like a academic what do you call it? Academic achievement schools, what like that? Basically like a Kenwood. Basically you go for 7th and 8th grade. That's what I'm saying. You said a Catholic school.
No, I said put her into one of the better high schools, and those also like Kenwood and Whitney Young have junior highs. But if you can't do that, then pay for her to, right? Because I mean, because even with Kenton's at some point we'd be like, maybe he may end up in a Catholic high school, and luckily my high school is still open, so it's one of those things where it's kind of like, and they send me alumni stuff, and it's kind of like, all right, it seems like it's still got the kind of same flavor.
Wait a minute, hey Melvin, how much was tuition in Marist when you graduated?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to let me double check that because I know it's definitely higher.
Was it more than 10? Was it more than 10 a year?
I'm pretty sure it was more than 10, and I know that when last I remember when Morgan was there, it might have been definitely more than what I paid. So
damn.
Yeah. Don't worry. All that's coming down, brother. COVID.
I'm saying, like, everybody, let's go back to work. Let's go back to school, bro. We're going to be back at home.
All that's coming down, man. That's part of the reason why these schools are pushing so hard, because now that the revelation's coming up, like, wait, we can get this education a different way, especially when you look at college.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I paying all of this when we can learn like the University of New Hampshire, basically, or Arizona? Why am I going to sit here and give you, and tuition keeps incrementally going up and up and up when we already know, like, dude, that doesn't even make sense.
My old manager daughter go to USC, and he was like, yeah, they're going to be at home for the fall semester. I'm like, so what's up with tuition? She's like, oh, no, we getting a nice little refund back. I'm like, I
got a family member that graduated from there, and I think I got a family member that's going into there now.
Really?
And listen, again, if my kid, now I said this to happen, if my kid was going to a high-fangled college right now, especially if they were in their first 2 years, I would snatch their ass out and put them in the JUCO.
Honestly, you know what? I got to talk to, when I went back to Chicago, I primarily went, aside from seeing my family, a baby cousin of mine is supposed to be coming to NYU this fall, and they wanted me to meet her again so that way she knows somebody in the city. Last I talked to her, they still supposed to have a move-in date and all of that. And I'm like, why? It makes this school year is going to be a wash anyway.
Yeah, right.
You just throwing money down, right? You just throwing money down the toilet at that point.
I can imagine the tuition in NYU too. Oh my God.
Bro.
40,000 a year probably.
Man, for real. It's a whole full-time job.
Man, I'm good on that. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
All right, so let's do the baseball. Hooray to the Cubs, boo-hoo to the Sox. And it's the best case scenario for the Cubs to where a team that's won a championship in the last 5 years, that if in a COVID-shortened season, if they pop out, it's kudos to them because they've already been there on the South Side. And they're not even in that position right now because Minnesota has let us know, little brother, step your ass down again, which always hurts with the type of beating that Minnesota has given the Chicago White Sox. And then Chicago's still not ready for those home runs that they knock out of the park, over 300 last season. But you look at just how well initially, and this is small sample size, David Davidson show, but you look at how well it seems like David Ross with the front office as far as differences they want to make with when Joe was there compared to David Ross. And we know Joe started to do some things different as far as his interaction with the players prior to games last season. But man, they still got a nice amount of talent. But you look at that veteran team that's been there and they're doing their thing. And right now on the South Side with the team that's been losing for the last 4 years at least, They're still trying to figure out how to change that. And then the fact that Ronaldo Lopez is going on the IL, definitely you hope it's just because he has shoulder tightness and wishing nothing ill on him. But being a guy that 2 years ago looked promising as a back-end rotation guy, and last year looked bad, and then Lucas Giolito snapped for the first half of the season. I will say this, for the Sox, it's good that they're not waiting when it comes to Ronaldo Lopez, especially in this shortened season where every win counts. But it's just disheartening when you see that this team that has as much talent as they have hasn't figured it out. But it's the early season. And I'll say after 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be a lot more cavalier with my dislike. But it's real early, so I don't want to just diss them.
Yeah, it is pretty early, and we had Jonathan Hood on ESPN Chicago was on it. We interviewed him last week, and he made a really good point. Like, man, listen, one game is kind of equals to 3. Now, as we said in the first segment, we got to try to see if the MLB even finished out the season, right? But it is still early in a sense, even within baseball. I know it's 60 games. It still is early, but you want to see them do a lot better. I think the Chicago White Sox came into the season, even this COVID-shortened season, with a lot of praise and a lot of hype to them. But, hey, man, listen, you still got to go out there and play. And you still got to get your pitching to the point of, say we go out there and compete against a Minnesota, against a Cleveland, because they're out of the class of the division. One thing I will agree with what Jonathan Hood says, like, listen, even if they don't make it this season, because you got Michael Kopech sitting out, you have arms that on a shortened stint of getting stretched out. You have, you was in spring training and you stopped for a very long time, so you got to get the bats going again. Everything's out of sync. Right, nothing synced up. So would it disappoint me that they didn't make playoffs with an expanded playoff version or teams being able to get in? Yeah, sort of. But 16 teams, which I think they should do anyway. But
no, they shouldn't.
I like that. More teams are better. But do I think I'll be super upset if they didn't make it? No, because they're still a young team. They still have a lot of young guys in the lineup. A lot of these guys are locked up anyway for the long haul. So if they didn't make this season, no. If they made a run next season, I'll be fine with that. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, as far as the Sox go, what they built is still, you can still consider it structurally sound overall. But like you say, they need pitching help. They need that front line of the pitching staff has to improve, or they have to get somebody else to come in and help them out, because these first games have shown, and you look at them compared to the Cubs, they got a nice performance from Chatwood. They got a nice performance from, real nice performance from Hendricks. Lester stalled them out, through like 5 innings yesterday in Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a rally after that, but getting that 5 innings was key. Sox can't get that from Ronaldo Lopez right now. They can't get that from the back end of their starting staff. So if they're gonna struggle like that, they look at that a 5-man rotation. They got about 3 days of that 5-man rotation where they're gonna be like, I don't know, and maybe only 2 where they could feel confident going into the game. So that's looking like you losing 2 out of 5 games. You winning 2 out of 5 games at best, and that's not going to do it. Not in 60 games, not in 162 games. So, like you say, D, if they don't live up to something, to what we were looking for them to do this year, we can, that's not going to be hard to take. But they have to be more critical of themselves right now, and not waste time.
It always comes down to pitching, right? Always comes down to pitching.
Cubs still have a terrible bullpen, though. And the only thing you can hope is that you get through 60 games, you don't really need to lean on it that hard, and only a few times.
It's kind of weird. You kind of wish you could flip,
pitching, as far as the amount of arms they have, isn't bad.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's kind of like you will flip the bullpen for the Sox to give it to the Cubs, or the starters for the Cubs to give it to the Sox.
in particular, if Kopech was here,
Yeah.
then it would be easier to sit Ronaldo Lopez down. But you still have Dane Dunning, who had Tommy John last year. We see Carlos Rodon pitching right now, and we know how good he was before getting hurt, especially with that slider that if he can get command of. But one thing,
stay healthy.
Before we get out of this, and the Michael Kopech situation has popped up, and I'm concerned. And I'm concerned because someone who's dealt with anxiety as far as Michael Kopech, and one thing, and the Sox kind of shushed him, was Don Cooper basically said that, not feeling, I'm paraphrasing, that it may be better for Kopech to be with the team because of just the type of stuff that's going on in his life. We know that his wife, who's soon to be his ex-wife, they filed for divorce.
Yeah, already. They just got married early this year, right?
In April.
6 months.
Wow.
The actress on Riverdale announced that they're having a boy, or she's having a boy, and it's his boy. And then them papers came.
Whoa,
they said.
Whoa. What did you just say, Tony?
He asked, is it?
I heard that, Tony.
18 years.
yeah, but my man's gonna get that test while that baby's in the belly. That's not gonna. He's gonna be like, they be like, it can hurt the baby, prick him. But and so with a player where from when he was in Boston was fighting a teammate, roommate, or whatever, with all that immense talent. Dating one of the daughters of the Atlanta Housewives prior to the daughter.
Brielle, whatever.
Yeah, and it's just like one of those things where it's like, I'm with Michael Kopech, but it's like, bruh, you got to take yourself out of some of this stuff too, because you're playing with this world, and while you want to be reserved, you're still playing with this media type world. And again, that has nothing to do with his decision making. But it's like for your sanity, how you need to try to apply yourself. So it's like now it's just like, and his whole year, he's not going to be around his team. He's not, who knows? I know he has a strict regiment that he did. I've seen plenty of video of the type of stuff he did with his father helping him and stuff they were doing down there. But I won't say it's alarming, but it's disheartening, and I wish him the best.
Well, hopefully, yeah, exactly. You hope the young man has a clear mind and clear head, not even for baseball, just for his personal life. Make sure, because once your personal life is straight, other things are a little bit clearer and easier to get through. So if he has his personal life straight, maybe baseball will be kind of like refuge and get out there and just play a sport, just play a kid's game, and he'd do very well. But no, it is kind of disheartening as a fan, at least, to try to see him go through all this. But listen, they definitely need him. I understand why he decided to take the year off. As we talked about before, a lot of other professional athletes are starting to take a step back out. And one thing that really jumped out to me too, just on that point, David Price sent out a tweet basically saying like, "Hey, this is what I was talking about. This is why MLB, I really didn't trust them as far as like keeping the players' health as the number one thing in mind." So, but no, and you talking about anxiety going to Michael Kopech. Listen, I think next season is a really big year for the Cubs. Not saying this, for the White Sox, not saying this year is nowhere near over. You still have a lot of games left. They're playing a doubleheader against Cleveland right now. Just hope they got to get things in line, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, they got a lot of young guys. Just kind of hope we get back on track. But it's good to see, just for the Cubs, to wrap up for myself real quick, it's good to see the Cubs kind of getting everything back in line for them, because they are a veteran team, and you don't know how much longer they have to be, into the formation that they are. So you
2 years max, D.
2 years max. Hey, go ahead and go for it. Go for it now.
They're going to get something back. They're going to get something back from Chris Bryant. So I wouldn't even say that. Now, it may take a year or two after that.
But just in terms of this core, probably 2 years.
Yeah. And just try to make sure that you get something out of what you can right now. You can look in the locker room like, hey, man, this team it's already changed as it is since the championship year. Just go ahead and try to do the best as you can. And they have a shot, too. They have a shot.
It's damn near the time to go back to Chris Bryant. Like, it's COVID out here, right?
He might be pulling that already.
You know the Dodgers not gonna sign your ass, right? Yankees not gonna sign you either.
Hey, as long as he don't test positive, he'll be fine.
I'm not. No, it's not him being fine, but you also have like the real reason Mookie Betts signed that deal was because he didn't want to be on the open market after this season.
COVID, yeah.
Finger on that pulse,
right? He was like, you know what? Listen. If COVID didn't happen, Mookie Betts probably wouldn't have signed right now. He would have went to market if COVID. But he was like, remember, mind you, 2 weeks ago, he was like, the market dictates what the market was. But guess what? He was like, let me get this money.
He got 380. 380 was the number?
Yeah, but with diminishing returns on what the TV money, the sponsor money, the fans in the stands money, it was time to get paid. And it may be time for Chris Bryant to go get paid. Because we already know that the MLB suffocates the market anyway. Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Garrett Cole will get paid, but we still know they're stagnating the market, but they're giving that to give an illusion that everything is still free in play. It may be time for Chris Bryant to go get as much money as he can, because it may not be out there in the upcoming seasons. I'm just putting
Chris Bryant is 28 or 20? Is he 27 or 28?
It's like, I think he's 26.
26?
He might be 27.
He's still that young?
Yeah, I think he'd be like 28 or 29 when that contract is over.
Okay, so maybe that's what I'm thinking.
So
maybe that's what I'm thinking.
He's 28 right now.
Oh, he is 28.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
Just turned 28 in January.
All right.
You know how they look at you when you pass 30.
Yeah. I mean, but he's had a great career so far. But like I said, for the Cubs right now, it's good to see them they playing well. This has an expanded playoff scenario this year, expanded teams. They can get in, and once, as I always said about any sport, just get me to the dance and let me see what happens. And they have a very, very good shot of being a contender or a playoff team for the NL Central.
Listen, I don't want to keep everybody. We definitely appreciate you guys and the amount of time that you've spent. Mm-hmm. But it's just crossing my mind. Let's do this once a month. But what I was saying, let's do it once a month. I would want everybody to bring at least. No, not D. D's gone. D can't come back. He's made a decision. He's got to rock with that. All right.
Why can't he come back?
D is Squidward in the
D's gone. D's the guy.
What'd you say, Cousin?
Maybe D is just pulling the ultimate D.
No, you don't. And then that wouldn't be D. That wouldn't be D.
No.
That wouldn't be D. So I'm joking when I'm saying that. Of course he could come back, but he won't be here. But let's try to do something to where it's more interactive with all of us, and we bring a topic or two that we all discuss to the table when we do it. And let's name it something and come up with something creative, and then let's support one another. But it's cool, definitely to do it. It's good to see all of y'all, even though Tony looked at his phone the whole time, because Tony's very disrespectful. He's one of those people that will be sitting.
He's trying to multitask.
Yeah, he will eat your food and be in your house all the time, and then he will just disappear because.
All right, I'm gone.
Right, he's
and it is Yeezys,
especially if your clout isn't to the level that where he's moving. Like, that's the type of Negro he is.
Hey, I would say
the bougie
this.
grows.
I would say this though. I am going to be. As I said, this is my last show, but I'm so excited to be a fan. I'm not saying I was not a fan anyway, but I'm going to be so happy to sit back and just listen as a fan. I'm going to be so happy to be able to sit back and watch sports as just a fanatic. You know what I'm saying? I think I haven't been able to do that in these 15 years. I mean, I am a fan, no doubt, but you know what I'm saying, just kind of like a unmarked, it's just kind of like, I could just say and do whatever. But I can't wait to be just even bigger fans of everything that everybody's doing right here. So it's a great idea, Ken. You're saying y'all get together and kind of watch this so I can just, you know what I'm saying, as I'm working, I can go to the YouTube, I can go to iTunes and just sit back and listen to y'all just talk sports. I'm very excited about that. So, it's bittersweet. You know what I'm saying? This is the last one. Ken and I
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
So in the interview with Jay Hood,
Yes.
he mentioned that he was disappointed in you. What did you feel about that?
It's not the first time I've heard that from somebody. I've had other conversations with other people, and they've said the same thing. It's kind of like, man, you know what I'm saying? I wish you would keep doing it, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm disappointed you're not still moving on. But I know I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror, because it's not just a one-man band. It's more than just me. And if I'm not strumming along as hard as I can, it's going to bring down everybody else. And that's why I had to look at myself, kind of like like I said before, the passion of it. I can't do that to you. I can't do that to Ryan. I can't do that to none of y'all. So I have to just be able to look inside and say, hey, man, listen, I know other people probably be like, hey, man, I wish you keep on going. I know this is just a moment of time. I think Melvin, Melvin said it when I had the conversation with y'all before. Like, man, you'll probably be back in a year. You know what I'm saying? You know, I do get that. I do hear that a lot. But I know right now in my soul, that's not the case. So it's understandable. I'm not shocked that he said that.
I'm happy he said it, because
I'm happy he said it. I was just about to say that too. I was just about to say that.
He was going to hold back and not say it.
Yeah.
I was
just about to say that too.
As how he loved the show and how it's going to be missed, you being there, especially as being two hosts of color,
right?
Doing the show. And I'm happy, and that's one of the things cool about Jay Hood, and we're going to have an interview.
You'll keep it real.
Lawrence Holmes, and these are really our biggest brothers in the industry. We've had plenty of brothers and mentors, but these are the pillars for the most part. I was gonna
end with that, saying that I'm happy that he did say that, because that means that we did something right. You know, the simple fact he said, like, man, I'm driving down Stony Island, I can just turn on and listen to y'all podcast. That's something good. That's something that's pretty cool. And that does mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? That means a whole lot. That means that what Ken and I set out to achieve, we was able to achieve. Going from the break room at the gig, going into just leaving class and broadcasting school and going to find our own studio, and us just recording all that time, all those hours, all those reps, what we set out to achieve, to leave a mark on this industry, as Tony said, that we have done. We've achieved we achieved what we set out to do. Am I going to be around for the rest of the ride? No, but my brother.
Are you gonna sneaky come back?
Probably not.
Okay, no. I'm just making sure.
No,
we don't know what we're gonna do with these internet.
That's not me. That's not me.
I don't think it's me personally. I don't see that being you, but I do see. But okay, let me say this twofold.
Yeah.
Me personally, because I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be happy. I don't think you truly love your brother if you don't want your brother to be happy. All right, that's just how I play. Like, I had a girlfriend that told me when I was in high school, I don't want to see you happy with nobody else. And I was like, what are you talking about? We're not going to be together. This doesn't make sense, right? Like, that's evil, right? And I've always applied that to any relationship. And for me, where it would be easy, like, man, D, let's do this. It's like, my brother wants to do this. I want what's best for my brother, because true love is, I want you to be happy. That's what, if you really care about somebody, especially when someone's coming to you, it's like, I'm not feeling this. You don't say like, no. You say, I want you to be happy. So with me, I know when you make a decision like this, usually it's a done dilly, right? But that's even the things they're telling you as far as with social media, in case you return in a year. I don't necessarily want to rip everything down in case you return, because, I mean, listen, we would hope things go very well with you leaving. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Like, I mean,
think it will, but okay.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's you. That not to take something away from you. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a learning process, and particularly me and Ryan are going to have to try to really reconfigure some things. So we'll see how it goes. But it would be great if you did. But
I mean, maybe it won't come back in this iteration. Maybe it might come back as something else. Like I said before, I think I'm a creative person. I know I had the talent to just chit chat and just talk. I might say, listen, my old lady told me I can talk to a tree if I wanted to. I can. I know I can.
Yeah, that says a lot about your fucked up shit.
I know it does. It's the only child up there.
I'm out here talking to a tree, baby. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know why you out here with this COVID.
He ain't gonna be going long. He already plotting his way back. He's like, maybe in another form. See, you ain't gonna be going long.
Well, no, but listen, but my mind is always, I'm sorry about that. My mind is always going. It's always going. It's the simple fact of, do I want to do it? And that's the issue. That's the problem. And like I can spit out ideas, but it's kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe this idea isn't the best for me. I don't know. My mind has always been going since I was a kid. I can always create something. But no, I don't use it. Ken is 100% right. Y'all know this about me. When I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And I have a pretty strong will when I say things about myself. So, but listen, like I said before, this isn't like I'm about to. I'm going away forever. I mean, not going away from y'all forever. I'm not. I'm always going to be here. You're going to find me on social media saying something. These past 15 years have been the best past 15 years of my life. I got to meet every last one of y'all. Obviously, Kyle and I came up together, but I've been able.
But we brought y'all closer. Just give us our props.
Yeah, Kyle was going. Yeah. Kyle was in school. Kyle was writing when he came back.
Y'all
we linked back up.
Granddaddy and grand. That's not that. Y'all not that close. We brought all of that close.
Do I need to bring
Josh?
pictures?
Let me get Josh. I seen the pictures.
Do I need to bring pictures of me and Kyle together as kids?
Jason.
Right, can't try to take all the credit.
No, right? All of it.
We made their family. Listen, let me not fool y'all. We made their family relationship closer than one of them.
Oh Lord!
Don't you get it twisted?
That is so
These dudes are distant cousins to a certain degree.
Oh my goodness!
All right, do y'all take pride in that? Don't y'all let these mugs fool y'all with this dude. That's not his first cousin. That's his granddaddy's cousin. That's a totally sister. That's a totally.
We had second cousins. What are you talking about?
Second cousins ain't shit. I'm joking.
You see this, Cuzzo? You see this?
I'm joking.
Oh, I know.
That's your co-host.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
I'm out here in the streets. I'm hoeing. He put me and he told me to hoe. It's like, why you got me out here hoeing? He was like, just go out there and shake your ass a little bit. It's like, what the fuck?
Tell me what you're worth.
Damn.
But no, man. Like I said, man, this been a great run. I just want to say also too, I'm gonna come up with a longer piece, but I just want to say thank you for everybody who reached out to me personally.
Who reached out to you, D? Let us know.
Well, anybody haven't reached out to me so far, man. I ain't gonna put nobody out there like that.
You gonna put it out there like that? Who reached out to you?
I'm gonna do a big. I'm gonna do a big
professional career to get you all these.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what? I just want to say, Dean Davis got some real big egos. Tony gave us a farewell show from the school, right?
He did.
We had whistles and everything.
Hey,
and
man.
D retires. Now, listen, I'm going to say this right now. If I retire in the next year and a half,
you're going to get the same thing.
No. I'm not doing that shit.
You ain't doing what?
It's a fucking rap.
Hey man, you gotta go out. You gotta go out with your flowers, man. You gotta go out your flowers, and people gonna give you your flowers.
I don't need flowers.
You know that. So wait a minute. So thanks you to everybody who did reach out to me. I'm gonna do a longer piece and trying to say thank you for everybody who helped me get to this point. And as I said before, Jason, Melvin, obviously Ken. I don't know why this happened to me. Ken, Tony, Ryan, Josh. Everybody who's on here right now, y'all have been a big part of my life and allowing me to live out my dream. Just thinking back, like I said before 1,000 times, just in my parents' apartment, in my parents' house, my grandmother's house, just recording myself to the point where Ken and I was able to do a show on the Score. The first show, Tony was in studio with us at the Score. Cuzzo Kyle was there. We taking pictures in front of the 6th Avenue School, banners, whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? That's something, man, working our asses off from that point to get to, going back in the day to get to that point, that shows you, if you put your mind to something, I know this is very cliche, but if you put your mind to something and you really push for it, it can definitely happen. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I said I love you to you guys enough, but I'll say it again. I love you guys. Like I said before, man, y'all allowed me to live out my dream. And like I said, I can't wait. I'm just ready to be fans of y'all and sit back and just sit back and, just sit back with a drink and just throw on a podcast, throw something Tony did. Obviously, what Ken and Ryan is doing, read everything and watch everything Kyle is doing and Josh is doing. Melvin's doing his thing. Jason's doing his thing. I'm just excited for that right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just excited for that. So it's the last one, but I had a hell of a time. I had a hell of a run. I'm going to miss the time going down to Bourbonnais in my old Cadillac with no AC, and we were sweating our asses off getting back to Chicago. Stories like that. Sydney telling the lady at the diner she don't know who he is.
Black sister was giving him love. He was like, "You stop it, sister. You get the hell away."
Right. Tony coming down there to the studio like, "Hey guys,
I'm a superstar.
I'm a superstar. Derrick Rose. Fuck Derrick Rose. Like, who is this kid? You know what I'm saying? Josh, meeting him down at the show. Ryan down at school, Melvin down at school, man, doing this thing. What was it? It was wait a minute, hold on, no. It was what was the name of y'all show, Jason? Jason, Melvin, and Tony. What was it? Jam.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, Jam. How about that? Being a part of that.
Killed that shit.
Man.
We don't get any royalties though.
Jam session, yeah.
Jam session. Yeah. So even just seeing all that, man, just sitting back with the memories and just sitting back and thinking about everything that we have done. Man, listen, this is not a sad note. This is a celebration. I've been able to live out all this stuff, man. Y'all just don't know how happy I am that I was able to do all this stuff and meet the people that I've been able to meet. I'm happy. I'm happy.
It's a sad note.
Yeah.
One, because these shows were a way to get out. And I'm not going to be able to hang out. This was congregating and being with family. So I won't have the same opportunities to do that with you.
We can do a Zoom session. We still together, baby.
We can. You be big. You do that. You be big on that. You be the force on that.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing it. But also, I want to say this. I want this to definitely come across. I want to thank Chanel for allowing us to have this.
Yes.
For as long as we've had this. And I
Same thing to
that.
Afton. Same thing to Afton.
I appreciate that. I also want to say this on a selfish note.
Yes.
Hey, you in Memphis, outside of Tony? You know my birthday was last Friday, right? Out of the last 3 years, this is the second time you effers did this, right? Just pointing out. I'm always on y'all birthdays very hard. Now, mind you, I really don't care. But
don't forget, y'all,
I deserve better than
he
that.
let y'all know that.
All right? I deserve better than I've been a good friend to all of you motherfuckers. I deserve a tad bit better. And then you come back and be like, hey, kid. I'm like, nah, motherfucker. That's not the shit, right? And again, because when I'm saying it to D and Ryan, I don't care because I know y'all love me. Like, real talk. I'm not even saying that on like some fuck shit. Like, as a grown-ass man, that's not as important to me because these guys on this screen have always shown me their amount of care or whatever. So I'm just busting balls. And if we can't be friends and bust balls, then what's the point of busting balls?
No doubt.
Or whatever.
No doubt.
But before, real quick, we're going out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. Jason Hood, Jay Hood tried to break me. As my brother, I love you. You provided so much to my life and you will provide more in my life.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. But you got me crying too much for a grown-ass man. And it will not happen today because my brother died and you were taking advantage of me. And I will not allow that moving forward. But definitely, and then for all of y'all, and I hope you don't take it as not being for real. Like, y'all are fam.
Mm-hmm.
I speak for D and myself, and I speak for all of us when I say that. And as fam, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's little things, and that's not to say that we got to be always lifting one another up or anything like that, but it has been a benefit to have especially with me being the oldest, all of you all in my life, it's been a benefit. And I appreciate it indeed. It comes down from you being the glue. It's been such a great benefit. And take pride in that, if I can say that, if it means anything to you.
I appreciate it. Hey, and for the last time, thank you for listening to D and Davis Show. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show, Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. I ain't gonna go through everything. We got Melvin. Hey, listen.
If I said the N-word in front of white people, that's my N-word.
Hey, listen. I love all y'all. I love
I think we got Josh.
Thank you, Chanel.
Look at Tony. Tony, he don't care about nothing no more.
No, he don't.
Look at him.
The Flip.